Hello everyone, I'm Raghuram Venkatesan, Director of Trucking Solutions at Optym. I'm super thrilled to be talking about one of our flagship products, RouteMax, a route optimization platform that helps trucking companies decrease their pickup and delivery costs by minimizing driving miles, driving time, without compromising on the service commitments. With RouteMax, we are on a mission to make the world more efficient, one route at a time.
All right, so in this demo, we're going to be looking at how we can route 1,000 shipments in under a minute. So that's the challenge in front of us. I'm going to be the planner for Phoenix, and let's see what I can do with RouteMax. The first thing I do as a planner when I come in to work is to understand the lay of the land. Where are the shipments concentrated? Which pockets of the city do I not have enough shipments? Things of that nature. And I do that by turning on the Show Zones button, and it gives me a quick insight of where the shipments are concentrated. Next thing I do is use the quick filters to identify how many appointment shipments I have, how many lift gate shipments I have, and I quickly can look into the filtered set of shipments on the grid and on the map. Taking this further, I can create routes on the fly for specific set of shipments as need be. So lift gate is a classic example. These are constrained equipment, and I might want to create a route just for a few set of shipments. I can give it an equipment, I could give it a start time, hit done, and that would create the route for me. If I don't give a start time, the optimizer is going to figure out the ideal route start time and position that in the plan. So I come out of that. Now, one other thing we can do is ensure that our data is clean before we start optimization. So we can click on any shipment and click on the geocode button whenever we are doubtful, and it's going to pull up the satellite view and show you the rooftop level geocoding of the address. And take the address, convert that to a lat long, and show you can adjust the position if you think it's not got the correct lat long, and save the location. So now we have clean data. We've also created some manual routes. This is a perfect time for us to jump into the route planning screen and kick off the optimization. So here's the manual route we created, and here is the rest of the shipments that ought to be routed. So I'm going to select both, and I'm going to hit Route Optimizer. It gives me a quick insight into what I'm going to be routing. So I have about 977 shipments, 20 of them are time sensitive, one of them needs special equipment, and that's going to help me decide how many special equipment to use. I'm going to leave the rest of it with the default values, hit confirm, and let's see what the optimizer can do. On an average day, this would take me anywhere between 4 to 6 hours to route 970 bills, because it's a lot of math that I need to do in my mind. Let's see what the optimizer can do. And it's already 40% done as we speak. So I'll speak a little bit about our optimization modes in RouteMax. The sequence optimizer, which helps you come up with the optimal stop sequence within a route. And then there's dynamic routing, which is what is in progress right now. And that is a secret sauce of RouteMax, which sets us apart when compared to our competitive products. What it does is, in comparison to the traditional LTL routing, where you split the city into geographic areas and you send one or more drivers, depending on how much freight is there. Oh, by the way, it just finished. Dynamic routing pushes your driver productivity and throughput by not restricting your drivers to stay focused on just one area. We look at a live example to understand that more, but I have the summary here post-optimization. So let's look at that quickly. 66 routes created for your 970 bills. It even created a late route because there were certain shipments that are arriving very, very late, and it's not possible to route them. Let's pick this, look for a better example. Okay, so this might be good. I turn on the zones, and you can clearly see that this route spans across multiple geo areas. And this is what I meant by dynamic routing. In the traditional routing, you would have had 2 drivers delivering freight to cover all of this. As a planner, I want to make sure that the optimizer did its absolute best job. So I'm going to challenge it by changing some stop sequence. And lo and behold, it gave me instant data-driven feedback. The move I just did was very bad. It resulted in 73 extra miles, 76 extra minutes, and worst of all, a missed appointment. We don't want to have dissatisfied customers. So I'm going to hit the undo button and put things back. Imagine I did a few more of these bad moves, and I've got a completely corrupt route. That's when sequence optimizer comes to my rescue, because there's no way I'm going to figure out the optimal sequence by doing all that manually. I click the route, I click on the sequence optimizer button, and in milliseconds, you have the route restored to its pristine state. You could do the same thing on the grid as well. You can drag and drop on the grid, and it's going to give you the same kind of feedback. Let's quickly look at something interesting here. So I've got this late route, and this is what we call the violation indicator. This is telling me that I have
3 shipments that are not going to be able to be delivered on time, and that's what it says in status. Let's look at why that's happening. So these shipments are arriving as late as 2:30 in the afternoon, and they ought to be delivered before 16:30. So, and they're quite far away from the terminal as well, which is why it is not able to put them in a route, and it's bringing this to the attention, flagging these to the attention of the planner so that he can manually go figure out what to do with them, either put them out on a separate day or talk to the customer to adjust the delivery window. Speaking of that, here's where I would like to touch a little bit upon what we call stop time. When we figure out the ETAs for customers, there's one aspect is the drive time between stops. The other aspect is how much time they spend at a stop. And that for that, we have a machine learning model that looks at historical data to figure out what is the estimated time the driver is going to spend at the customer location. And with that, we are able to accurately predict the ETAs for the entire route. And when you make changes to the route, we keep recalculating it. And for one of our existing customers, we improved the ETA accuracy up to 35%. And this has obviously resulted in a lot of positive feedback from the customers. So another productivity hack that we've seen all our users leverage is the multi-monitor feature in RouteMax. That helps you leverage dual monitors if you have that set up, because there's so much data that they have to parse. It becomes very useful if you have the ability to pop out the map onto a separate screen and have the grid on the other one. So let me quickly select a few routes, and as you can see, the application is as responsive as it's always been, and you get the power of 2 monitors. And this way you can split the map on one monitor, the grid on the other one, and get the best of both worlds. So let's recap. We used RouteMax to route the 970 odd bills, and our challenge was to finish all of that in 1 minute. Guess what? We finished that in about 45 seconds. Thank you, everyone.